3:47 a.m., FOB, Salerno Field Hospital, Eastern Afghanistan, August 2011. The rocket turns night into day. Tessa Barrett is changing a bandage when the north wall explodes. She doesn't scream. Her hands freeze mid-wrap white gauze suspended between her fingers and the wounded soldier's arm. Training takes over. Her mind categorizes the threat before her body can react. Glass shatters inward. Each fragment catches moonlight. She watches them fall with strange clarity, the slowed time phenomenon of extreme stress. She counts the interval. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 15 seconds between volleys. Attack pattern, Alpha 3, Soviet-era tactics. Suppressive fire followed by breach. Textbook insurgent assault. Her body knows what comes next. Muscle memory older than her medical credentials triggers an automatic response. Her right hand reaches toward empty air, seeking a rifle that hasn't hung from her shoulder in 18 months. The Barrett M82 is in the armory, 40 feet west through smoke and chaos. Master Chief Dalton Briggs's voice cuts through radio static sharp with command authority. Doc, get down. You're a medic. Nada. Another explosion drowns him out. Closer this time. The building shudders. Tessa looks at her hands, small hands bearing calluses in unusual places. The trigger finger, the thumb web, marks that don't develop from holding scalpels or inserting IVs. She presses the soldier flat against the floor. Stay down. Don't move. Her voice carries the strange calm of someone who's been here before, someone who's trained for chaos, someone who's lived through worse. The kind of calm that comes from 18 months of practiced deception. The kind that shatters when your past comes knocking with rockets and automatic weapons fire. 18 hours earlier, dawn hasn't touched the Afghan sky when Tessa Barrett's alarm sounds at 04:45 hours. She's already awake. 5'3" in boots, 117 pounds, fully dressed. 27 years old with tobacco brown hair, pulled into a regulation bun so tight it creates pressure points at her temples. Navy scrubs hang loose on her frame, deliberately chosen 2 sizes too large. Smaller targets draw less attention. 4 months at FOB Salerno. Long enough for the morning ritual to become automatic. Pharmacy inventory check. Surgical bay preparation. Overnight casualty reports review. Coffee strong enough to dissolve tooth enamel. She completes each task in silence. Tessa doesn't speak unnecessarily. Words are tools, not social lubricant. The work speaks volumes, or so she tells herself during the long, quiet hours. The field hospital occupies the FOB's center like a beating heart. 30 beds arranged in precise rows. 2 operating rooms with equipment that breaks down weekly. A pharmacy perpetually missing critical medications. And people always people. Bleeding, broken, held together by determination and medical tape. Tessa navigates the pre-dawn darkness like a ghost. Her boots barely whisper against concrete. Another habit she can't quite abandon. The first helicopter arrives at 0520 hours. 15 wounded. SEAL Team 6. Failed operation in the mountains. The kind that never appears in official records because officially it never happened. Tessa waits as rotor wash kicks up dust devils. She doesn't need briefing to assess severity. She reads it in how the corpsmen carry stretchers. The urgency without panic. The controlled chaos of professionals who've evacuated casualties before and pray they never have to again. Trauma Bay 2, she announces, quiet but crystalline. GSW to the shoulder. Possible brachial artery involvement. The lead medic, barrel-chested with gray threading his temples, gives her a measuring look. Quick assessment, female, small, young, unproven. You sure about that, Doc? Yes, one word, no elaboration. Tessa learned early that defending yourself invites more skepticism than silence. She's right about the brachial artery. She's always right. Master Chief Dalton Briggs positions himself where he can observe without interfering. 47 years old, 28 years wearing the uniform. He's watched medics panic, freeze, fumble under pressure. He's watched others work miracles with nothing but gauze and determination. He's seen the full spectrum of human performance under stress. He hasn't seen anything quite like Tessa Barrett. Precise, economical. Every movement serves singular purpose. Zero wasted motion. She places the IV on first stick, locates pressure points without visual confirmation, anticipates the surgeon's needs before he articulates them. Her hands never shake. Briggs knows this level of composure doesn't spontaneously generate. It's forged through repeated exposure to trauma, tempered by experience. Who is she? He asked the charge nurse. Barrett, Navy corpsman, volunteered for Afghanistan, 4 months in country. Background, Hospital Corps School, Great Lakes. Distinguished graduate. That's all her file shows. Briggs files this away. Distinguished graduate doesn't explain her movement patterns. The way she clears corners automatically. How she positions herself with walls at her back. Small details that add up to something larger. The seal on the table, Sergeant Wyatt Callahan, 34, designated marksman, surfaces from morphine haze. His eyes focus on Tessa adjusting his IV drip. "You're little," he observes, words slurred but comprehensible. "Yes. Can you lift the med bag 45 pounds? Tessa doesn't look at him, continues her work with practiced efficiency. "I manage, Sergeant." Wyatt attempts sitting up. Pain drives him back down. "In the field, someone's going to end up carrying you." Tessa finishes the IV check, steps back. "That won't be necessary, Sergeant. Rest now." She walks away. Wyatt watches her diminishing form, 5'3", maybe 120 soaking wet. The standard med bag weighs nearly half her body weight. He turns to the medic, securing his shoulder dressing. "She gonna make it out there?" The medic shrugs. "She's hospital staff, man. Probably never leaves the wire." But Tessa does leave the wire. Necessity trumps preference in undermanned forward operating bases. When SEAL Team 6 runs operations, they require medical support. When the regular combat medic contracts pneumonia, they need replacement. Tessa becomes that replacement. She doesn't complain or negotiate, simply appears at the briefing with her med bag packed and her expression neutral. The team doesn't want her present. Nothing personal. Pure physics. Combat operations involve calculations. Ounces become pounds. Pounds become pain. Weakness becomes casualties. Everyone's shoulders, everyone else's burden. And Tessa Barrett, 5', 317 pounds, appears to be the weakest link they've encountered. Reputations crystallize in the chow hall. Tessa occupies a corner's table, back against wall, old reflex. She's halfway through reconstituted eggs when Corporal Deacon Stone drops into the opposite seat. 31 years old, breacher. Third-degree burns mapping both forearms from a door charge that detonated prematurely. Tessa treated those burns, recommended medevac. Deacon refused evacuation. Hard men make harder choices. Doc, Deacon states, not friendly, not hostile, simple acknowledgement. Corporal, heard you're rolling about how to in with us tomorrow. If required. Deacon studies her with professional assessment. You've been outside the wire before. Yes. When resupply convoy 3 weeks ago. That's different. Deacon leans forward. Tomorrow we're hunting, not convoy escort, hunting through mountains on 20 miles, 40-pound packs minimum. Can you handle that? Tessa meets his eyes without flinching. Yes, Corporal. You certain? Yes. Deacon searches her face for doubt, fear, uncertainty. Finds none. Okay then. He stands, walks away. Tessa returns to her eggs. They've gone cold. She eats them anyway. Waste is sin in forward operating bases. Petty Officer Rhett Sullivan handles communications. 29 years old. Every electronic lifeline connecting teams to civilization beyond the mountains flows through his equipment. He locates Tessa in the equipment room. She's conducting her third inventory check of the day. Obsessive thoroughness. Hey, Doc. She glances up. Petty Officer. Got a question. Rhett lifts an M4 carbine leaning against the wall. Not his weapon. Guard property. You know the difference between this and an M16? Yes. Yeah, skeptical smile, not mean-spirited. Testing. Tell me. Tessa doesn't hesitate. M4 carbine features a 14.5-inch barrel with collapsible stock, direct impingement gas system, typically equipped with carrying handle or flat-top receiver for mounting optics. The M1604 has a 20-inch barrel, fixed stock, identical gas system, generally employed for extended range engagements where barrel length provides velocity advantage. Silence stretches. Rhett blinks. That's actually completely accurate. Yes. Where'd you learn that? Reading. Reading isn't the same as using Doc. Tessa returns to her inventory. No, it's not. Rhett watches her. Small woman. Economical movements. She handles medical equipment with the fluency of native language. But something nags him, the way she answered about rifles. Zero hesitation. No retrieval time. The information simply existed ready for immediate access, like she'd answered that specific question dozens of times before. Doc, he says carefully. Yes. You ever actually fire an M4 squadron? Pause. Barely perceptible. Half a heartbeat. Qualification course. Basic training. And I qualified. She doesn't mention qualifying expert. Doesn't need to. The pause communicated everything. Lieutenant Marcus Frost doesn't trust female medics in combat environments. Not ideology, experience. 3 tours, 2 female medics. Both froze when rounds started impacting. Both required protection instead of providing it. Both got good men wounded trying to keep them safe. Frost isn't sexist, he's pragmatic. Combat operates on ruthless meritocracy. He corners Master Chief Briggs before the operations briefing. Chief regarding Barrett. What about her? I want someone with combat experience. She's got hospital time, period. Briggs considers the objection. She's exceptionally competent at her job. Competent isn't adequate out there. I need someone who won't freeze. Someone who can return fire if necessary. Someone the team won't babysit. You think she'll freeze? I think she's 100 pounds. I think she's never been in contact. I think she represents liability. Briggs doesn't immediately respond. He thinks about the steady hands, the movement patterns, the calluses in unexpected places. Give her one operation, Briggs decides. She doesn't perform, we pull her. Fair. Frost dislikes it, but Briggs holds rank and respect. One op, Frost agrees. She fails, she's done. The briefing room smells of stale coffee and accumulated stress. Maps cover every vertical surface. Satellite imagery, target packages, the infrastructure of modern warfare. Tessa sits in the rear corner, notebook open, pen poised. The team files in. Wyatt Callahan's shoulder bandaged but cleared for duty. Deacon Stone burns healing beneath fresh dressings. Rhett Sullivan carrying 3 radios like they're weightless. Lieutenant Frost jaw set in preemptive disapproval. Master Chief Briggs commands the front. Authority requiring no volume. Listen up, he begins. The room settles into professional silence. Tessa notes that none of them sit near her. Not deliberate avoidance, natural clustering, water-finding level. She's accustomed to isolation. The mission brief is straightforward. Reconnaissance, valley 12 kilometers west. Suspected Taliban supply route, observe, confirm, extract, standard operation, manageable risk, the lies we tell ourselves. Medical, Briggs states, his eyes find Tessa. Doc, your primary, issues no chief. Pack for 3 days, we're traveling light but prepared. Questions. Wyatt raises a hand. Chief, with respect, Doc's first field operation. Maybe we should have backup medical. Briggs's gaze doesn't leave Tessa. Doc, can you handle this assignment? Every eye rotates toward her, measuring, weighing, waiting for hesitation. Tessa looks back at Briggs. Yes, Chief? 2 words, unequivocal. Briggs nods. Then we're set. Brief at 0400. Wheels up 0500. Get rest. The team departs. Still not engaging her, still not sitting near her, Tessa remains seated, reviewing notes, pretending not to notice. But she notices everything. Always has. Detonated and consumed half her team. She detonated and consumed half her team. She occupies her rack, stares at darkness, controls her breathing. 4-count inhale, 7-count hold, 8-count exhale. The technique supposedly induces calm, lowers heart rate, promotes sleep. It fails. At 0200, she abandons the attempt, dresses in PT gear, steps into Afghan night. The FOB transforms after dark. Quiet except for generator hum. Guard towers silhouetted against impossible stars. Afghanistan sky so clear the Milky Way looks close enough to touch. Tessa runs the perimeter, not jogging, running, 6-minute mile pace, controlled breathing, perfect form. 3rd lap, she senses observation. Master Chief Briggs, seated outside the command post, coffee steaming. He doesn't speak, just watches. Tessa completes the lap, begins another. Briggs continues watching. 5th lap, Tessa stops, approaches. Chief, Doc, he gestures to the bench. Sit. She sits, doesn't initiate conversation. Can't sleep, Briggs asks. No, Chief. Pre-mission nerves. No, Chief. Then what? Tessa selects words carefully. Preparing Chief. Briggs sips coffee. You just ran 5 miles in under 30 minutes, wearing boots, at altitude. Yes, Chief? That's not normal preparation. I maintain fitness, Chief. Hospital Corps School doesn't train people to run like that. Tessa doesn't respond. Briggs turns to study her profile. You're interesting, Doc. Don't talk much. Work harder than anyone. Volunteer for undesirable assignments. And you've got calluses on your hands that don't develop from holding scalpels. Tessa's expression doesn't change. I don't understand, Chief. I think you understand perfectly. Briggs stands. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's demanding. He walks away. Tessa remains on the bench, studying her hands. The calluses have faded. 18 months of holding needles instead of rifles. But they persist, ghosts of her former self. She closes her hands into fists. Some ghosts don't fade. The 0400 brief is concise. Tessa stands with her med bag, 47 pounds fully loaded. She wears it like it's empty. The team notices. Wyatt especially. He'd been certain she couldn't manage the weight. Watching her stand there, not straining, not adjusting, just standing, challenges his assumptions. Move out. Briggs orders. They move. The helicopter flight consumes 30 minutes. Tessa sits in silence. The team talks around her. About her. Not malicious. Professional assessment. Thinks she makes 12 clicks. Deacon shouts over rotor noise. Maybe, if we pace slow. Can't pace slow. Timeline's tight. Then maybe not. They're not cruel, just realistic. They've watched small people collapse under weight and distance. They've watched trained soldiers quit. They haven't watched Tessa Barrett. The helicopter deposits them in a valley resembling Mars. Red rock, no vegetation. Heat like a physical blow even at dawn. 12 clicks to Objective Alpha, Briggs announces. Standard patrol formation, comms check every 30 minutes. Dock your center position. Issues speak up. Clear. Clear, Chief. They move. The first hour tests everyone. Briggs sets brutal pace. Faster than necessary, identifying who complains, who falls behind. Tessa doesn't complain, doesn't fall behind. Her legs are short. She requires more steps covering identical ground, but she matches their pace. Stride for stride. Mile 3. Wyatt glances back. She's there, not struggling, breathing controlled. Mile 6 Deacon checks. She's there, not even heavily sweating. Mile 9 Frost turns around. She's there, maintaining pace. Medbag secure. They're not slowing for her. They don't need to. The observation post overlooks the valley. Perfect sight lines. Good cover. Defensible position. They establish security. Wyatt with his designated marksman rifle. Rhett with radios. Deacon checking approaches. Frost coordinating. Tessa finds shade. Unpacks her med bag. Conducts inventory for the 4th time today. Everything's present. Always is. But checking is ritual. Ritual maintains sharpness. Doc. She looks up. Deacon standing there, face tight with discomfort. Something wrong, Corporal. My back. Tightness. Probably slept wrong. Show me. He lifts his shirt. Lower back. Right side. Tessa palpates gently. Tests range of motion. How long? 3 days. Pain or tightness? Both. Sometimes shoots down my leg. Tessa's eyes narrow with diagnostic focus. Which leg? Left. She has him walk. Observes his gait. Subtle compensation. Slight foot drop on the left side. Corporal, sit down. She runs neurological tests. Reflexes. Sensation. Strength. All slightly diminished left side. Doc, what is it? Tessa sits back. I believe it's L4 to L5 nerve impingement, possibly from blast overpressure. 3 days ago, were you in contact? Deacon thinks. Yeah, firefight. RPG detonated close, maybe 15 feet. The overpressure could have caused disc herniation, compressing the nerve root. If it's what I suspect and you continue operations, you risk permanent nerve damage, possible paralysis. Deacon's face drains color. You're serious? Yes. How confident are you? I'd need MRI confirmation, but based on clinical presentation and history, 80% confident. Hell, Tessa keeps her voice level. Corporal, this isn't about toughness. This is neurology. You could lose permanent function. Deacon stares at his leg, attempts wiggling toes. They respond, slowly. What should I do? I recommend immediate medevac, full neurological workup. Mission's not complete. Your spine is more important than this mission. Deacon meets her eyes. You really think it's that serious? I don't make frivolous recommendations. He's quiet for extended moment, then summons Briggs. Chief Doc says I might have nerve damage. Briggs looks at Tessa. Explain. She does. Clinical, precise, presents evidence, differential diagnosis, risks of continued operations. Briggs listens. When she finishes, confidence leveled in 80%. Chief, if you're wrong, then Corporal Stone has muscle strain and I've wasted medevac resources. If you're right, then he has approximately 6 hours before damage potentially becomes permanent. Briggs studies Deacon, then Tessa. Call it in. Medevac for Stone. 20 minutes later, a helicopter extracts Deacon. The team watches it depart. Wyatt turns to Tessa with challenging expression. You better be right, Doc. I am. She is. The MRI at Bagram confirms L4 to L5 herniation with significant nerve compression, emergency decompression surgery, full recovery expected with treatment. If Deacon had remained in field another week, he'd have lost function in his left leg, permanently. When confirmation arrives, Wyatt finds Tessa. Doc, Sergeant, you were right. Yes. You you saved his career, maybe saved him from wheelchair. Tessa doesn't respond, continues packing equipment. How'd you know? Wyatt presses. Observation, training, experience. Hospital core school teach you that. Pause. Advanced trauma life support, neurological assessment, pattern recognition. Not a lie, but not complete truth. Hospital core school teaches fundamentals. What Tessa demonstrated was advanced the diagnostic acumen that develops from seeing pathology repeatedly, in conditions far worse than this. Wyatt wants to probe deeper, but something in her expression stops him. She doesn't want discussion, so he doesn't push. They complete the mission, confirm the supply route, extract without enemy contact. Back at FOB Salerno, the team's attitude shifts. Subtle, not dramatic, but Tessa notices. Rhett nods acknowledgement in the chow hall. Wyatt saves her a seat at briefings. Frost doesn't object when she's assigned subsequent operations. Small changes, meaningful nonetheless. She's proven she can carry her weight, proven she can diagnose what others miss, proven she's not liability. But they still don't know who she truly is. 1 week later, maintenance day, weapons cleaning, equipment inspection. Tessa inventories medical supplies in the armory. The armorer, grizzled gunnery sergeant named Webb, cleans rifles nearby. A guard left his M4. Webb picks it up, shakes his head disgustedly. Irresponsible. Weapons filthy. Bolt carrier needs lubrication. He hands it to Tessa without thinking. Can you believe this? Tessa accepts the rifle. Her hands move. Not thinking, not deliberating, just moving. Magazine drops. Chamber clears. Bolt locks back. Bolt carrier group removes. Wipes down. Applies oil. Reassembles. Functions check. 7 seconds. She returns it to Webb. Should function properly now. Webb stares. Where'd you learn that? Tessa realizes her mistake. Basic training, Gunny. Basic training doesn't teach weapon breakdown that fast. I practiced extensively. For what purpose? Preparedness. Webb studies her with newfound suspicion. You ever fire for qualification, Doc? Yes, Gunny. Score? I don't recall. Bullshit. Everyone remembers qualification scores. Tessa is rescued by the radio. Mass casualty incoming. Vehicle struck. IED. She drops everything. Runs. Webb watches her departure. Holding the M4 she just field stripped in 7 seconds. Something doesn't calculate. The mass casualty is controlled chaos. 8 wounded, 2 critical, blood everywhere. Screaming. The orchestrated pandemonium of trauma medicine. Tessa doesn't hesitate. Critical patients first, tourniquets. Hemostatic agents move. She's not shouting, but her voice cuts through everything. She goes to worst case. Afghan National Army soldier. Femoral artery severed, bleeding out. 90 seconds until death. Tessa's hands become blur. C8 tourniquet, high and tight on thigh. Cranked until bleeding stops. Pack wound with combat gauze. Hemostatic agent. Direct pressure. Check for tension pneumothorax. Left chest. Absent breath sounds. Tracheal deviation. Needle decompression. 14-gauge needle. Second intercostal space. Midclavicular line. Hiss of escaping air. Lung re-expands. 2 large bore IVs, aggressive fluid resuscitation. 90 seconds. The soldier's eyes focus. He's breathing, heart rate stabilizing. He'll survive. The team watches in stunned silence. Tessa stands. Blood covers her hands. Uniform. Face. Next patient. She moves to the next casualty. And the next. And the next. Systematic, efficient, saving lives like it's her only programmed function. Because it is. Later that night, after casualties stabilize, after surgeries, after cleanup, Master Chief Briggs finds Tessa outside, staring at impossible stars. Hell of a day, Doc. Yes, Chief? You saved 8 lives today. Did my job. Your job doesn't typically include needle decompression under extreme pressure. That's trauma surgeon territory. Tessa doesn't answer. Briggs sits beside her. Where'd you really learn that? I read extensively, Chief. Reading doesn't provide the confidence to perform needle thoracostomy. Silence. Doc, I'm not interrogating, I'm trying to understand. You're the best medic I've observed in 28 years. The way you move, the way you think, the diagnostic capability. That doesn't originate from hospital core school. Tessa's jaw tightens. You have secrets, Briggs continues. That's acceptable. Everyone has secrets. But when those secrets might save lives, perhaps they shouldn't remain secret. Tessa turns to him. Chief, I'm a Navy corpsman. That's all requiring your knowledge. Is it? Yes, Chief. Briggs stands. Okay, Doc, your choice. But someday, maybe soon, those secrets will surface. When they do, I hope you're prepared. He departs. Tessa remains on the bench, studying her hands. 18 months. She's maintained the secret for 18 months. But secrets accumulate weight, and this one is becoming unbearable. 5 days later, intelligence arrives from higher command. Enemy activity increasing around FOB Salerno. Chatter suggests possible attack within 24 to 48 hours. Command makes the call. Evacuate non-essential personnel. Retain only critical patients and skeleton crew. Master Chief Briggs addresses remaining personnel. We're maintaining minimal presence. 12 patients we can't transport. 8 guards, 2 surgeons, 3 medics. My team was scheduled departure tomorrow, but transport got delayed. So we're here minimum 48 hours. He looks at the medics. I need volunteers to remain. This could get dangerous. No shame in evacuation. 2 medics immediately volunteer for departure. They have families, children. Tessa raises her hand. I'll stay, Chief. Doc, you certain this could get ugly? They require medical support. I'm staying. Briggs nods, respects the choice even while disliking it. That night, Tessa can't sleep again. She goes to her locker, opens it. Inside is everything she owns in Afghanistan. Uniforms, medical techs, 1 photograph. She retrieves the photograph. Faded, worn from repeated handling. The photo shows a girl, 16 years old, all angles and determination. She's holding an M40A3 sniper rifle, standing beside a man in Marine Corps uniform. Gunnery Sergeant Cole Barrett, Force Reconnaissance, 24 years of service. Her father. Tessa traces her finger across his face. He died 18 months ago. March 2010, Helmand Province, IED, advising Afghan National Army units. She attended the ceremony when they brought his body home. Beneath the photo rests a letter, handwritten, edges soft from constant folding and unfolding. She opens it, reads it again. Tessie, if you're reading this, I didn't make it home. You're 16 now, old enough to understand. I taught you to shoot, not to create a warrior. I taught you survival. You possess a gift, always have. Steady hands, steady heart. You can outshoot me now. Probably have been able to for 2 years, but you're too polite to mention it. Your mama doesn't want you in the military. I respect that. She's witnessed enough, lost enough. But I know you, service runs in your blood, just like me. Just like my father. Just like every Barrett before us. If you choose to serve, and I believe you will do it your way, become a medic, save lives. That's your true gift. Not taking lives, saving those who fight. But remember, hands that can hold a needle can hold a rifle. Different tools, same purpose. Heal when you can, fight when you must. Know the difference. I love you, baby girl. Always. Semper Fidelis, Gunny Barrett. Tessa folds the letter carefully, returns it to its resting place. She closes the locker, lies down. Tomorrow will be another day, another shift, another opportunity to be just a medic. Just a medic. Nothing more. But the letter's words echo. Heal when you can, fight when you must. She closes her eyes. Somewhere beyond the wire, men move in darkness. Planning. Preparing. In 18 hours, everything changes. The secret she's protected surfaces. Not by choice, by necessity. Because when bullets fly and people die, there's no such thing as just a medic. There's only survival. And Tessa Barrett knows survival intimately. She learned from the best. The attack comes at 3:47 a.m. Tessa is in the ICU, 4 critical patients. 2 post-operative, 1 with multiple fractures, 1 fighting sepsis, all depending on her vigilance until morning. She's replacing an IV bag when the first rocket hits. The north wall doesn't explode, it vaporizes. Concrete and rebar transform into shrapnel and choking dust. The concussion wave strikes her like a physical fist. The IV bag flies from her hands, but Tessa doesn't scream. She counts the interval. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 15 seconds between volleys. Second rocket, east side. Guard tower. She hears it collapse with grinding finality. Men shouting, some cutting off mid-syllable. Tessa moves with purpose. Everybody down under beds now, command voice. The patients respond without questioning. Those capable of movement move. Those who can't, Tessa drags with surprising strength. 4 patients, 90 seconds, all positioned on the floor, protected by bed frames and mattresses. Minimal protection, but something. Windows shatter inward. Glass rains down like frozen water. Tessa throws herself over the sepsis patient, feels fragments strike her back. Minor lacerations, manageable. Gunfire erupts outside. A K-47's, distinctive sound. 7.62 by 39 millimeter, 30-round magazines. Cyclic rate, 600 rounds per minute. Her mind catalogs it automatically. Training she can't forget despite 18 months of deliberate neglect. American weapons return fire. M4 carbines, 5.56 NATO. Shorter, sharper reports. But American fire is decreasing in volume. AK fire is increasing. Negative tactical mathematics. Tessa crawls to the door, peers through wire-reinforced window. The courtyard is chaos incarnate. Muzzle flashes, tracer rounds drawing lines through darkness. Men in dark clothing pouring through the breach. She counts them. 15, 20, 25. More than 8 guards can manage. Where are the SEALs? Master Chief Briggs' voice cuts through radio static. All stations actual. We are under attack, multiple hostiles. Guards are down. Repeat, guards are down. If you can shoot, arm yourselves. If you can't find cover, and stay there. His voice carries professional calm, the tone of someone who's navigated this before. Tessa looks back at her patients, on the floor, terrified, helpless. She could hide with them, should hide with them. She's a medic, not a combatant, not anymore. That's what she tells herself. Then boots in the hallway, running, multiple sets, approaching the ICU. Tessa's hand moves to her belt, reaches for equipment that isn't there, hasn't been there for 18 months. The ICU door is locked. Won't stop them, just delays them. Maybe 10 seconds. Tessa scans the room rapidly. Medical equipment, IV stands, crash cart, nothing useful for defense. Her eyes land on a metal tray, surgical instruments. She grabs it, dumps the instruments, holds the tray like an improvised shield. Not much, but something. The door explodes inward, boot to the lock, wood splinters. 2 men rush through, dark clothing, chest rigs loaded with magazines. AK-47s, faces obscured, eyes scanning for targets. They see the patients on the floor. They see Tessa standing between them and the patients. 5'3", 117 pounds, holding a metal tray. The first insurgent raises his rifle toward a patient. Tessa moves. 18 months of practiced restraint falls away like dead skin. She's not a medic anymore. She's phantom. Time dilates. Adrenaline sharpens perception to razor clarity. She sees the world in crystalline detail, the insurgent's finger on the trigger, the slight tilt of his barrel, the flex of his shoulders preparing to fire. Tessa throws the tray, not at his head, at his eyes. Specific target, maximum distraction, metal strikes face. He flinches, hands come up reflexively. She's already closing distance. 4 steps, 1.2 seconds. Her hands go to the AK-47, right hand grips the barrel, left hand secures the receiver. Push the barrel upward and away. Rotate clockwise. Use his grip strength against him. The rifle rotates in his hands. Comes free. 1.8 seconds. Tessa controls the weapon now. Muscle memory activates. Her body knows the sequence. Fingers locate the selector lever. Flip from safe to semi-automatic. Stock into shoulder. Sight picture acquired. Center mass. Double tap. 2 shots. Both connect. Insurgent 1 collapses. Pivot. Insurgent 2 is bringing his rifle around. Too slow. He's reacting to her initial movement. Hasn't processed that she's now armed. Tessa fires. Single shot. Headshot. 7 meters. Can't miss at 7 meters. Insurgent 2 drops. Total elapsed time 4.2 seconds. Tessa stands motionless. A K-47 in her hands. 2 bodies on the floor. Patients staring with wide, shocked eyes. She checks the rifle with practiced efficiency. Magazine. Round count. Examines the casualties. Takes spare magazines, 2 each. 7.62 by 39. 60 rounds total. Insufficient, never enough. But more than 10 seconds ago. Stay down, she tells the patients. Voice calm. Don't move. I'll return. She moves to the door, scans the hallway, clear momentarily. Tessa keys her radio. Chief Briggs, this is Barrett. ICU is secure. 2 hostiles neutralized. I have 4 critical patients requiring protection. Silence on the radio, then Briggs's voice, confused. Barrett, did you say 2 hostiles neutralized? Affirmative. How, Chief? We can analyze later. What's the tactical situation? More silence. She can almost hear him processing. East wing breached. We're holding central hallway. 8 hostiles confirmed KYA. Estimate 23 remaining. They're regrouping. Friendly casualties. 6 guards KIA, 2 wounded. Medical staff accounted for except you. SEALs are armed and engaging. Barrett, stay in position. Protect the patients. Tessa studies the AK in her hands, looks down the hallway toward escalating gunfire. Protect patients by remaining here. Or protect everyone by helping stop the attack. 18 months of being just a medic. 18 months of concealment. Chief, she says carefully, I can provide assistance. Negative, you're medical, stay with patients. Chief, I'm former MARSOC, I can engage. The radio falls silent, extended silence. When Briggs speaks again, his voice has changed. Say again. Master Chief Dalton Briggs, I am Sergeant Tessa Barrett, Marine Special Operations Regiment, 2nd MSOB, call sign Phantom. I served 2007 to 2010. Medical separation after Helmand Province. I can assist you, Chief, but you need to trust me. Another extended silence. Wyatt Callahan's voice cuts in, strained, pained. Chief, did she just say MARSOC? Callahan, clear this net, Briggs snaps. Back to Tessa. Barrett, if you're fabricating I'm not. Proof. You worked with Gunny Cole Barrett in 2005. Urban combat instruction, Fallujah tactics. He taught you room clearing. You called him the finest Marine you ever met. Silence stretches taut. How do you know that he was my father? The silence extends. Tessa hears firing in the background. Men shouting, the orchestrated chaos of firefight. Finally, Briggs speaks. Get to central hallway, room 104. We need every competent shooter. Roger, moving. Tessa turns to the patients. Stay down, stay silent. I'll return for you, Doom. She enters the hallway. The hospital is nightmare landscape. Smoke, dust, sparking wires, bodies, some wearing guard uniforms, some in dark clothing. She navigates through it like a ghost. Silent, rapid, checking corners, scanning for threats. Room 104 is a supply closet converted to defensive position. Briggs is there with Wyatt, Deacon, and Rhett. They have 2 M4s, 4 M9, pistols, limited ammunition. They see her approaching, see the AK-47, see blood on her uniform that isn't hers. Wyatt's mouth opens. Doc, what? That is save it. Briggs interrupts. He studies Tessa, really studies her, for the first time. You're Cole Barrett's daughter, yes, Chief. He never mentioned having a daughter in MARSOC. He didn't want anyone to know, concerned about nepotism accusations. Briggs processes this. You really Phantom? Yes, Chief. Prove it. Tessa doesn't hesitate. She field strips the AK, 4 seconds, inspects the bolt carrier, reassembles. 3 seconds, functions check. Weapon is contaminated, requires cleaning, but functional. She studies their defensive arrangement. You're too clustered. Overlapping fields of fire are good, but you're vulnerable to fragmentation grenades. Deacon should reposition 10 feet left. Rhett needs elevation. Wyatt, you're wounded, shoulder correct. Wyatt nods, stunned. You can't properly shoulder an M4. Switch to pistol, support role. Designate targets for the others. She surveys the hallway. They'll push central corridor. Widest approach. We need to funnel them. Create a kill zone. She indicates positions. Stack equipment there and there. Force them into column formation. Then we establish crossing fire from 3 positions. Briggs stares at this small woman who 18 hours ago was just a medic, now discussing tactics like she authored the manual. Execute it, he orders the team. They move, stacking equipment, repositioning, following Tessa's directions. Deacon can't restrain himself. Doc, or Sergeant, or whoever you are. What the hell? Later, Tessa says, they're coming. How do you know? Listen, they listen. The external gunfire has stopped. Eerie silence. Regrouping, Tessa explains. They've taken casualties. They're reorganizing. They'll hit us hard in the next assault. Concentrated push. How many? Briggs asks. I counted 25 initially. You said 8 KIA. That's 17. I neutralized 2, 15 remaining. Messiah 15 against 5, Brett mutters. Outstanding odds. We have defensive advantage, Tessa states. Superior training, better weapons. We can prevail. Wyatt stares at her. You really Marsoc? Yes. How many deployments? 3. Confirmed kills. Tessa meets his eyes. 47 confirmed. 0 friendly KIA on my watch. The team goes silent. 47. This diminutive woman. 47 confirmed kills. Holy hell, Deacon whispers. Briggs keys his radio. QRF, this is Salerno Actual. Status. Salerno Actual QRF is inbound. ETMA 22 minutes. Mechanical issue delayed departure. 22 minutes. Might as well be 22 hours. We hold here, Briggs declares. 22 minutes. We can do that. The attack initiates 90 seconds later. Not subtle, not tactical, just overwhelming force. 12 insurgents, flooding down Central Corridor, firing while advancing. Wait, Tessa says quietly. Let them commit. The team holds fire, watching the enemy advance, every instinct screaming to engage. Wait, Tessa repeats. The insurgents hit the equipment funnel. Bunched together, perfect kill zone. Now, time, 4 weapons open fire. The corridor transforms into hell. Crossing fire. Overlapping sectors. The insurgents can't advance, can't retreat. Trapped in the fatal funnel. 12 seconds, 6 insurgents down. The remainder retreat, dragging wounded. Cease fire, Briggs orders. Conserve ammunition. The team checks weapons, reloads. Tessa has 20 rounds remaining in her AK. Where'd you learn that? Deacon asks, still processing. Marsoc CQB School, Advanced Urban Warfare Course, Fallujah Case Studies. We drilled kill zones until we could establish them unconsciously. We, Tessa pauses. My team, 2008 deployment, 8 operators. We ran 73 missions in Helmand Province, 0 friendly casualties. What happened to the team? Her face closes. Later, Wyatt leans against the wall, his shoulder bleeds through the dressing. Tessa sees it. Callahan let me check that. I'm functional. You're bleeding through your dressing. Sit. It's not a request. He sits. Tessa works rapidly, cuts away the old bandage. The wound has reopened. Not severe, but requires attention. Combat gauze, pressure. You'll be fine. She's wrapping it when Rhett asks the inevitable question. How does a MARSOC operator become a Navy medic? Tessa continues working, doesn't look up. My father, Gunny Cole Barrett, Force Recon, 24 years. He taught me shooting when I was 10. First lesson wasn't trigger control. It was discernment when to shoot and when not to. She ties off the bandage. By 16, I could outshoot him. He said I possessed a gift, but my mother didn't want me in the military. She'd witnessed enough, lost enough. But you joined anyway, Briggs says quietly. My father died, March 2010. Helmand Province, IEED, advising ANA units. She finally looks up. In his will, he wrote, serve but serve your way. Hands can hold needles and rifles. Different tools, same purpose. So you joined at MARSOC, Deacon says. 2007, 19 years old, youngest female ever selected for special operations. Combat deployments. 3 2008, 2009, 2010, 47 confirmed kills. But what I'm proud of 73 missions. 0 friendly KIA, I kept my team alive. Until Briggs prompts gently. Tessa is quiet for extended moment. Until Helmand, 2010, operation went catastrophically wrong. Ambush. We were betrayed. My team, 6 didn't make it. I took shrapnel in my back and leg. 8 months recovery. Medical separation. 60% disability. And you became a medic, Wyatt says. I couldn't just stay home. I learned nursing. Became a corpsman. Volunteered for Afghanistan. Returned to where my father died. To close the circle. She looks at Briggs. I didn't conceal my past to deceive anyone, Chief. I concealed it because I wanted evaluation based on my healing ability. Not my capacity for violence. Briggs nods slowly. Cole Barrett was my mentor, 2005. He taught me urban combat, room clearing, Fallujah tactics. He never mentioned having a daughter in special operations. He didn't want preferential treatment for me, or suspicion that I didn't earn my position. Did you earn it? Every single day for 3 years. Briggs extends his hand. Welcome back to the fight, Sergeant Barrett. Tessa shakes it. Thank you, Chief. The moment fractures when Rhett calls out, "Movement South Corridor." But it's not an attack. It's a voice, amplified, originating from outside. "Americans, we know you are there. We do not wish to kill your wounded. Surrender your doctors and medics. We will release the others unharmed." Briggs mutters, "Bullshit. They want hostages." Tessa agrees. "High-value targets, medical personnel. They'd ransom us or use us for propaganda." The voice continues. "You have 5 minutes to decide." "Not happening," Briggs states flatly. The radio crackles. "Salerno actual QRF is 15 minutes out." 15 minutes, the team settles in, watching, waiting. Then Wyatt curses. "Chief problem, sniper, rooftop northeast, 650 yards. He's got clear line of sight into the ICU." Briggs looks. Damn, he can eliminate every patient. "Callahan, can you engage him?" Wyatt attempts shouldering his M4. Pain crosses his face. His wounded shoulder can't stabilize the weapon. "I can't hold steady, Chief. I'm sorry." "Hell." Briggs looks around. "Anyone qualified on long range?" Silence. Then Tessa speaks. "Chief, is there a Barrett M82 in the armory?" Briggs looks at her. "Yeah, why?" "I can make that shot." 650 yards. "I've made shots at 1,400 yards, Chief. 650 is well within capability." Deacon stares. "With a Barrett that weighs 30 pounds. Recoil can fracture bones." "I know, I've fired it before." Briggs considers. 650 yards. Sniper on rooftop. QRF still 15 minutes out. Patients exposed. "Do it," he decides. Tessa moves to the armory, opens the weapons locker. The Barrett M82A1 rests there, massive, intimidating. 50 caliber anti-material rifle. She lifts it. 30 pounds, checks the optics. Loopholed scope, quality glass, grabs 2 magazines, 10 rounds each. Deacon follows her. "Sergeant, are you certain about that recoil?" "I've fired the Barrett 17 times in training, 12 times in combat. I understand what I'm doing, Corporal." She moves to second floor, locates a window with good sight lines, establishes position. Prone, bipod deployed. The target is clear through the scope. Insurgent sniper. Rooftop, 650 yards. Slight breeze, left to right. Tessa runs calculations. Range 650 yards. Wind approximately 8 miles per hour. Temperature 38 Celsius. Affects trajectory. Target stationary but has partial cover. Small engagement window. She controls her breathing. 4-count inhale. 7-count hold. 8-count exhale. Heart rate drops. 72 beats per minute, still elevated. Wait, 30 seconds. Heart rate 64. Better. Finger on trigger. Smooth press. No jerk. No pull. Squeeze. The Barrett roars. Massive recoil slams into her shoulder. She rides it. Doesn't fight it. Through the scope, she observes impact. Miss. 8 inches left. Wind calculation was incorrect. Deacon, observing with binoculars, winces. "Adjust windage." "I know," Tessa says calmly. She doesn't get rattled. Misses happen. First shot is data collection. Second shot is correction. Recalculate. Wind is gustier than estimated. Adjust hold. 2 mils right. Breathe. Heart rate 62. Squeeze. Boom. The insurgent drops. "Hit," Deacon confirms. He's down. But there's no time for celebration. Another insurgent appears. Different position. 720 yards. "Second sniper," Deacon calls. Tessa is already adjusting. New range, new wind calculation, new target. Breathe, calculate, squeeze. The Barrett speaks. Second sniper falls. "Jesus Christ," Deacon whispers. 2 for 2. Tessa safes the weapon, stands. Her shoulder will bruise, but she's functional. They return to the defensive position. The team stares at her. "What?" she asks. "Who the hell are you?" Deacon asks. "I told you. Phantom." Before anyone responds, the radio crackles. Different voice, panicked. One of the doctors. "Anyone, this is Dr. Preston. Lieutenant Frost is coding. Internal bleeding. He needs surgery immediately or he's dead in 15 minutes. Briggs looks at Tessa. "Can you operate?" "I'm a medic, not a surgeon." "But can you?" Tessa thinks. "I've assisted in 40-plus trauma surgeries. I understand the procedure. But Chief, we're under attack. If I'm operating, I can't engage." "We'll manage." "For how long?" "However long it requires." Tessa makes the decision. "Get me to the surgical bay." They move, covering each other, room to room. The hospital is a labyrinth of smoke and darkness. They reach the surgical bay. Lieutenant Frost is on the table, conscious, agonized. Doc, he gasps. I'm sorry about doubting you. Save your strength, Lieutenant. Dr. Preston is elderly, skilled but trembling. I can't do this alone. My hands aren't steady enough. Walk me through it, Tessa says. Tell me what to do. She scrubs. Gloves, mask, scalpel in hand. She's opening Frost's abdomen when the next attack initiates. Gunfire, close. The insurgents are pushing again. Briggs on the radio. Barrett, we need you. Tessa looks at the open abdomen, at Frost's pale face, at the bleeding requiring control. Chief, I'm mid-surgery. They're pushing East Corridor. We can't hold without another shooter. Tessa looks at Dr. Preston. Can you clamp these vessels? I think so. Do it. Maintain pressure. I'll return in 5 minutes. She strips the gloves, grabs her AK, runs. The East Corridor is chaos. 8 insurgents. Concentrated push. Deacon and Rhett are pinned. Tessa doesn't hesitate. She flanks, uses smoke for concealment, appears on the insurgents' left flank. They're not expecting it. She fires. Controlled bursts, center mass. 4 insurgents down in 8 seconds. The others break. Flee. Clear, she calls. 30 seconds of engagement. She runs back to surgery. Strips, scrubs, gloves. Status, vessels clamped. Preston reports. But the spleen is lacerated. You need to repair it. Tessa's hands move. Sutures, running stitches. Tying off bleeders. 7 minutes into the repair, Briggs calls again. Barrett sniper South Tower, 800 yards. Tessa doesn't stop suturing. Callahan, can you engage him? Negative, can't hold the rifle. She ties off the last suture. Dr. Preston, close for me. I'll return. Runs, grabs the Barrett. Second floor window. 800 yards. Moving target. Difficult shot. But she's phantom. She makes difficult shots. Breathe. Calculate. Squeeze. The sniper falls. Back to surgery. The dance continues. 5 minutes operating. 2 minutes fighting. 5 minutes operating. 2 minutes fighting. Her mind compartmentalizes. In surgery, she's a healer. In combat, she's a weapon. She switches between identities without hesitation. Heal when necessary. Fight when necessary. Her father's words made manifest. Finally, after 19 minutes, she closes Frost's abdomen. Clean, dressed, stable. He'll survive, she tells Preston. You just performed trauma surgery while repelling an attack. Yes, that's impossible. It's necessary. The radio crackles. Salerno actual QRF is on final approach. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. The insurgents know it too. They launch their final assault. Desperate. All remaining forces. 12 men. Everything they have left. Briggs calls everyone to Central Corridor. Last stand. Tessa joins them, a K-47 ready. 20 rounds remaining. On my mark, Briggs says. Controlled fire. Make every shot count. The insurgents come in a wave. Fire. The corridor erupts. Tessa fires. Smooth. Controlled. Every round finds a target. 20 rounds. 7 insurgents down. The rest falter. Break. Run. And then helicopter rotors. Heavy and close. The QRF has arrived. The battle is over. Tessa lowers her weapon. Hands shaking now. Adrenaline crash. The team stares at her. This small woman covered in blood. Some from surgery. Some from combat. Barrett to Briggs says quietly. Report. ICU patients 4 all stable. Lieutenant Frost surgery complete stable. Enemy casualties 11 confirmed by me. Friendly casualties 6 guards KIA. 2 wounded stabilized. Ammunition expenditure 60 rounds 7.62, 20 rounds 50 caliber. She delivers it like an after-action report. Clinical, professional. Then her legs give out. Deacon catches her. Whoa, easy. I'm functional. You're not functional. You just repelled an attack and performed surgery. I did my job. Wyatt approaches, his face transformed. Respect. Awe. Sergeant Barrett, I owe you an apology. Everything I said, everything I thought, I was wrong. Tessa looks at him. You weren't wrong, Sergeant. You were protecting your team. That's appropriate. But you so. I proved myself. That's how it works. The QRF floods in, securing the compound, treating wounded, documenting casualties. Final count, 23 insurgents killed, 4 captured. Friendly 6 guards KIA, 5 wounded, 12 patients all survived. Tessa Barrett's personal count, 11 enemy KIA, 19 lives saved. Different tools, 1 holding a rifle, 1 holding a scalpel. Same purpose, just like her father said. The sun rises over FOB Salerno, 3 hours after the attack concludes, Tessa sits on steps outside the surgical bay, still wearing blood-stained scrubs, still holding the empty AK-47. Her hands finally stopped trembling 10 minutes ago. The compound is organized chaos. QRF establishing perimeter security, medics treating wounded, body bags lying near the north wall. Some American, most not. She should assist, should return to work, but her body refuses to move. Master Chief Briggs locates her there. He sits without requesting permission. Doesn't speak initially, just sits. They watch the sun climb, golden light spilling over mountains, beautiful and indifferent. The same sun that rose yesterday, the same sun that will rise tomorrow. War doesn't alter the sunrise. How you holding up, Sergeant? Briggs finally asks. Tessa doesn't answer immediately. 17 months, she says quietly. 17 months since I fired a weapon in combat. I thought I'd finished with that aspect of my life. You saved substantial lives tonight. I took 11. To save 19. Tessa studies her hands, small hands, calluses rebuilding where they once existed. My father used to say that, heal when you can, fight when you must. I never fully understood the weight of it. The switching, being dual purpose. Your father was wise. He was the finest man I knew. Her voice fractures slightly. He taught me shooting, healing, discernment, but he never explained how heavy it would be, carrying dual identities. Briggs is quiet momentarily. After the battle, you provided numbers. Clean report, professional. But you didn't mention something. What's that, Chief? You performed trauma surgery while repelling an attack. I observed you switch. 5 minutes operating, 2 minutes combat, repeatedly. I've never witnessed anything comparable. It was necessary. It was extraordinary. Briggs turns to study her. You know what you proved tonight? That I can still engage. No, you proved that integration surpasses specialization. That superior operators aren't just proficient at one thing. They're exceptional at everything required. He pauses. Your father taught you well. Tessa's eyes fill. She blinks the tears back. He'd be proud, you think? I know he would. The moment fractures when Wyatt approaches. His shoulder is properly bandaged now, fresh dressing, arm in sling. Sergeant Barrett, he says formally. Tessa stands. Sergeant Callahan, I need to say something. Wyatt's voice is rough. Everything I said, about you being small, about requiring assistance, about not handling the med bag, I was wrong, not just incorrect. I was unprofessional. You were protecting your team. I was making assumptions, unfounded ones. He meets her eyes. You saved my life twice yesterday, once with your medical expertise, once with your marksmanship. I owe you everything. You owe me nothing. I owe you an apology and my respect. You have both. He extends his good hand. Tessa shakes it. Deacon and Rhett join them. They're carrying something, a patch. Custom made. Tessa can see it's been hand-sewn, quickly, roughly, but with care. The patch displays a golden trident, the seal insignia. But in the center, instead of the traditional anchor, there's a red medical cross. We made this for you, Deacon says. Seal Corpsman, warrior and healer. Dual purpose, not one or the other. He hands it to her. You earn this, not because you can engage, because you can do both, because you prove that integration strengthens us. Tessa accepts the patch, stares at it, the trident and cross, her two identities, finally merged. Thank you, she manages. Rhett steps forward. I'm going to tell my son about you, about what you accomplished, not the violence, the switching, being more than one thing. That's what matters. The words impact harder than expected. Tessa nods, not trusting her voice. The moment is interrupted by a runner, young private. Sergeant Barrett, Captain Vickers wants to see you immediately. Captain Michael Vickers, SEAL Team Commander. '06, the kind of officer who doesn't summon people unless it's serious. Am I in trouble? Tessa asks. The private's face is unreadable. Just said to bring you, Sergeant. Tessa follows him to the command post. Her mind races. Discharged weapon without authorization. Concealed background. Violated medical separation terms by engaging in combat. She could face court-martial. Captain Vickers is waiting. 52 years old. Combat veteran. Multiple deployments. Face carved from granite and accumulated experience. Sergeant Barrett, sit. She sits. Vickers studies her for extended moment. I've been reading after-action reports, all of them. Briggs, Callahan, Stone, Sullivan, Dr. Preston, even the wounded patients. He pauses. Interesting reading. Tessa waits. According to these reports, a Navy corpsman single-handedly repelled an insurgent assault while simultaneously performing trauma surgery. 11 confirmed enemy kills, 19 lives saved, 2 precision sniper shots at 650 and 720 yards. And you accomplished all this while concealing a MARSOC background. Sir, I can explain. Vickers raises a hand. I pulled your service record. The actual one, Marine Special Operations Regiment, 2nd MSOB, call sign Phantom. 3 combat deployments, 47 confirmed kills, 0 friendly KIA across 73 missions. Medical separation 2010 after Helmand Province ambush. He leans back. Impressive record, Sergeant. Makes me wonder why you were concealing it. Sir, I wanted evaluation based on my medical ability, not my combat history. And now, sir, I did what was necessary to protect my patients, to protect this base. Do you regret it? Tessa considers the question. Really considers. No, sir, I don't. Vickers nods slowly. Good, because Master Chief Briggs has submitted you for the Navy Cross, for valor under fire, for actions above and beyond the call of duty. Tessa's mouth opens, closes. Sir, I don't deserve... Let me finish. Vickers stands, walks to the window. The Navy Cross is one recommendation. Here's the other. SOCOM wants you to develop a training curriculum. Integrated combat medicine, teaching medics across all special operations units to think like you do, to be healer and fighter, to understand when to switch and how to excel at both. Sir, I'm medically retired from combat operations. You're retired from full-time combat operations. Training is different. Teaching is different. Passing what you know to the next generation. He turns to face her. We need what you have, Sergeant. That ability to integrate, to be more than just a specialist. You proved it's possible. Now teach others. Tessa's mind spins, teaching, curriculum development, continuing to serve differently. Sir, I need time to consider. Take your time. 48 hours, but Barrett, Vickers' voice softens slightly. What you accomplished last night, that's the future of special operations medicine. Not medics who hide behind operators. Medics who operate alongside them, who can save lives and take lives when necessary, who understand both sides. Yes, sir. Dismissed. Tessa departs in a daze. The compound is fully secured now. Damaged buildings being assessed. Casualties evacuated. Life returning to something approximating normal. But nothing will be normal again. That night, Tessa makes a phone call. Satellite phone. Expensive, limited time. The number rings 5 times before someone answers. Hello? Her mother's voice. Older. Weary, but still strong. Mama, it's Tessa. Baby, oh my God, I've been so worried. The news reported an attack. I'm okay, Mama, I'm fine. You're certain you're not injured? Few bruises, nothing serious. Her mother exhales, relief, then suspicion. Tessa Marie Barrett, I know that tone. What happened in... Tessa closes her eyes. Mama, I need to tell you something, and I need you to not be angry. Silence. I broke my promise. What promise? But her mother knows. Tessa can hear it in her voice. The one I made when I left MARSOC, that I wouldn't carry a weapon again, that I'd only heal. I broke it, Mama. Extended silence. When her mother speaks again, her voice is careful. What? Because people were dying, because I was the only one who could stop it, because I had to choose between keeping a promise and saving lives. How many people? 23 insurgents attacked the base. I killed 11 of them. I saved 19 of our people, including performing surgery while fighting. Her mother makes a sound, half sob, half laugh. Your father would be insufferable right now. You know that he'd be telling everyone, that's my girl, that's my Tessie. Tears run down Tessa's face. You're not angry. Baby, I made you promise because I couldn't lose you too. I'd already lost your father. The thought of losing you? She pauses. But you didn't break your promise. You kept the important one, the one to serve, the one to save lives. I took lives, Mama. To save others. That's different. That's what your father meant. Heal when you can, fight when you must. You understood the difference. That's what matters. Tessa is crying openly now. I miss him. I know, baby, I know. But he's proud of you. I'm proud of you. You used both gifts, the healing and the fighting, just like he taught you. They talk for another 10 minutes about mundane things, family, home, Tessa's cousin's wedding. Normal life continuing despite war. When they disconnect, Tessa feels lighter. The weight she's been carrying, guilt, shame, fear has lessened. Her mother's blessing, her father's legacy. Both accepted. The next morning, Tessa gives Captain Vickers her answer. Yes, sir, I'll develop the curriculum. Outstanding. Report to Naval Special Warfare Center Coronado in 30 days. You'll have full support, budget, resources, whatever you need. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sergeant. You're changing how we operate. 6 months later, February 2012, Naval Special Warfare Center, Coronado, California. Tessa stands before a classroom. 22 students, mix of SEAL Corpsmen, Army Special Forces medics, MARSOC docs, 16 men, 6 women, all experienced, are dual skeptical. She's wearing instructor uniform. The custom patch on her shoulder, trident and cross, dual purpose. Welcome to Integrated Combat Medicine, she begins. I'm Sergeant Tessa Barrett, call sign Phantom. I'm going to teach you something most people consider impossible. Being an exceptional medic and an exceptional operator, simultaneously. She clicks to the first slide. This course is 8 weeks, intensive. You'll learn advanced trauma medicine. You'll learn precision marksmanship. You'll learn when to heal and when to fight. Most importantly, you'll learn that these skills don't conflict. They complement. A hand raises. Young SEAL Corpsman, maybe 24. Yes. Instructor Barrett, how do we know when to switch? When to stop being a medic and start being a shooter? Excellent question. The answer is you don't switch. That's the secret. You don't deactivate being a medic when you pick up a rifle. You don't deactivate being an operator when you pick up a scalpel. Integration means holding dual identities simultaneously, making decisions based on what saves maximum lives. Another hand, female Army medic. But don't those identities conflict healers versus fighters? They appear to, but they don't. Let me tell you a story. Tessa tells them about FOB Salerno, the attack, the choices, the switching between surgery and combat. She doesn't glorify it, doesn't make herself heroic, just presents it as data. In 19 minutes, I switched between roles 7 times, 5-minute surgery intervals, 2-minute combat intervals. It shouldn't have worked, but it did. Want to know why? The class leans forward. Because I didn't perceive them as different roles. I perceived them as different tools. When someone needs surgery, I use a scalpel. When someone needs suppressing fire, I use a rifle. Different tools serving identical purpose, keeping people alive. She lets that settle. This course will teach you both medical excellence, combat proficiency. But more than that, it will teach you the mindset, how to assess situations, how to make calls, how to be what your team needs in any moment. The weeks progress. Tessa teaches with intensity. Morning sessions, trauma medicine. Afternoon sessions, marksmanship. Evening sessions, integration exercises. She's demanding, precise, uncompromising, but also patient. She remembers being the student, being doubted, being underestimated. She won't let her students face that. By week 4, the class functions as integrated units. Medics who can engage, shooters who can render aid, both sides respecting both skills. Week 8, final exercise. Live fire combined with mass casualty scenario. Tessa observes her students perform. They flow like water. Between roles, one moment treating wounded, next moment returning fire. Seamless transitions. She's proud. The course concludes. Graduation ceremony. Small, unofficial, but meaningful. Tessa addresses the class one final time. You arrived as specialists, medics, or operators. You're departing as something more. Integrated professionals who understand that healing and fighting aren't opposites. They're two sides of the same coin. Both saving lives, both essential. She displays her hands. These hands can hold a needle. These hands can hold a rifle. Your hands can too. Remember that. When you're downrange, when seconds matter, when you must choose. You're not choosing between being a medic or being a fighter. You're choosing which tool serves the mission better. Heal when you can. Fight when you must. Know the difference. The students stand, applause, respect earned through 8 weeks of intensity. After the ceremony, Tessa receives a report. Statistics from operations involving her trained medics. The numbers are stark. Survival rate increased 31% in operations with integrated medics versus traditional medics. Casualty evacuation time decreased by 42%. Combat effectiveness maintained or improved despite increased medical capability. The doctrine is working. SOCOM takes notice. Requests expansion. 8 bases want the curriculum. NATO allies request training exchanges. The Marine Corps Gazette publishes an article, The Phantom Protocol, How One Sergeant Changed Special Operations Medicine. Tessa's legacy is growing, but she doesn't think about legacy. She thinks about the students, the lives they'll save, the operators they'll protect, the missions they'll complete. That's what matters. One weekend in March, Tessa drives to Arlington National Cemetery, Section 60, the new section, Afghanistan and Iraq casualties, fresh graves. She walks through rows of white headstones, each one a story, each one a family's loss, each one a debt the nation carries. She locates her father's grave. Gunnery Sergeant Cole Barrett, United States Marine Corps Force Reconnaissance, March 15, 1956 to March 8, 2010. Semper Fidelis Tessa kneels, brushes dirt from the stone, traces the letters of his name. "Hey, Dad," she says quietly. "I know it's been a while. Sorry, been busy." The cemetery is quiet, wind through trees, birds singing, peaceful. "I used your lesson, the one you taught me. Heal when you can, fight when you must. I had to do both, Dad, same night. It was difficult, but you were right. Different tools, same purpose." She reaches into her pocket, pulls out the custom patch, trident and cross. "They made this for me, the SEALs. After I proved I could do both, I wanted you to see it." She places the patch on the headstone. It catches sunlight, gold and red. "I'm teaching now. What you taught me, I'm teaching others." 67 medics so far. They're downrange now, saving lives, making a difference because you taught me. And I'm teaching them. A tear runs down her face. "I miss you, Dad, every day. I wish you could see what's happening, how your words are changing doctrine, how integration is becoming standard, how your little girl's making a difference." She stands, studies the grave, the patch, her father's name. "I won't forget. I promise. Different tools, Dad. Same purpose. Always." She salutes. Crisp, proper. Holds it, then drops her hand and walks away. The patch remains on the headstone. Trident and cross. Legacy continuing. 2 months later, Tessa's in her office at Coronado, reviewing curriculum updates, planning the next course, correspondence with other bases. Her computer chimes. New email, subject deployment request. SEAL Team 8, African Partnership Mission. She opens it. Sergeant Barrett, SEAL Team 8 is deploying to East Africa. 6-month rotation. Partnership mission with local forces. Medical training and advisory role. Request your participation as senior medical instructor and tactical advisor. Mission requires medical expertise and combat experience. You are uniquely qualified. Deployment date 15 May 2012. Please advise availability. LCDR James Morrison. SEAL Team 8. Tessa reads it twice. Deployment. Back to the field. Not combat operations, training and advisory, using both skill sets. Dual purpose. She studies her desk. Course materials, student files, recommendation letters, evidence of impact. She could remain here, safe, teaching, making a difference without risk. Or she could go, apply what she knows, train foreign medics, continue serving differently. Her phone rings. Master Chief Briggs, Phantom, you get the email. Just now, Chief. Thoughts. Tessa is quiet, thinking, weighing. What's the mission profile? Train Kenyan military medics. Establish integrated medical doctrine for their special operations units. Some field work. Partnership operations. Nothing like Salerno, but not zero risk either. Timeline. 6 months. Departure in 5 weeks. And you think I should go? I think you're the only person who can execute this correctly. We're not just training medics. We're changing how they conceptualize medicine in combat. That requires someone who's lived it, someone who's proven integration works. Tessa studies the deployment request again. Chief, I could accomplish more good here, training our people. You could, but this is force multiplication. Train their trainers. Create ripple effects across an entire military. Your impact could reach thousands. That's substantial pressure. You can handle it. Tessa thinks about her father, about his letter, about serve your way. Let me think about it. Fair enough, but Phantom, you're not finished serving yet. I know you. You need to be downrange, making a difference where it matters most. They disconnect. Tessa sits in silence, staring at the screen. She could remain safe, or she could serve. Really, there's no choice at all. She opens her gear locker. 2 sides, left medical supplies, surgical kits, medications, training materials. Right tactical gear, rifle breakdown, optics, ammunition. Everything maintained, everything ready, always ready. She types a response. Lieutenant Commander Morrison, I am available for deployment. Sergeant Tessa Barrett. She hits send, then opens another window. Personnel roster for the next training course. Applications from across SOCOM. She needs an assistant instructor. Someone to continue the program during her deployment. Someone who understands integration. She locates the perfect candidate, a student from her first course. Female SEAL Corpsman. Excellent performance in both medical and tactical evaluations. Someone who comprehends it. Tessa drafts the recommendation, forwards it to Captain Vickers. Legacy isn't just what you accomplish, it's who you train to continue after you're gone. The week before deployment, Tessa runs the beach at Coronado. Early morning, 6-minute miles, controlled breathing, perfect form. She's faster than at FOB Salerno, stronger. The 18 months of concealment are fully behind her. She's Phantom again, but different. Not just an operator, not just a medic, integrated, dual purpose. Her phone buzzes. Text message. Former student. SGT Barrett. Heard you're deploying. Good luck. You taught me that integration makes us stronger. Carrying that forward. Thank you. HM2 Anderson. Tessa smiles. Text back. Stay safe. Remember the lesson. Heal when you can. Fight when you must. Phantom. More messages arrive throughout the day. Students checking in, reporting successes, sharing how integration saved lives downrange. The ripple effects. 147 medics trained through her program in 10 months, operating across 4 continents, survival rates climbing, doctrine changing, NATO adopting similar programs. One sergeant, one idea, one demonstration that integration surpasses specialization, changing the world one medic at a time. The night before deployment, Tessa packs her gear. Methodical, everything has a place. Medical kits, surgical supplies, medications, diagnostic equipment, training materials. Tactical kit, rifle optics, ammunition, body armor, load-bearing vest, dual kits, equal weight, both essential. She's loading the last items when someone knocks. Master Chief Briggs, holding 2 beers. Figured you could use one before departure. They sit on her apartment balcony, ocean visible in the distance, waves crashing, eternal rhythm. Nervous, Briggs asks, about deployment, about training foreign forces. Slightly, language barrier, cultural differences, different baseline knowledge. You'll adapt, you always do. They drink in silence. Chief, can I ask something? Shoot. Did he know what he was creating when he taught me? Did he know I'd end up here, Briggs considers. I think he knew you'd serve. Knew you'd find Orion. Maybe not the exact route, but the destination, yeah, he knew. How sit him? Because he taught you both sides, healing and fighting. He didn't teach you one or the other. He taught you integration before there was terminology for it. That wasn't accident. That was preparation. Tessa's eyes fill. I wish he could witness this. He can. Wherever he is, he knows, and he's proud. Trust me on that. They finish their beers. Briggs stands to leave. Phantom, yeah, Chief. Come back safe. We need you. The program needs you. Those medics you're training need you. I'll return. I always do. Good. He departs. Tessa sits alone, watching the ocean, thinking about tomorrow, about deployment, about service, about using dual purpose. At 0600 hours, she boards the transport. Gear packed, orders confirmed, mission clear. SEAL Team Ayet is already aboard. They nod respect. They know who she is, what she represents. The plane lifts off. California disappears below. Africa waits ahead. Tessa opens her tablet, pulls up the mission brief. Kenyan Special Operations, training timeline, partnership protocols. She's already planning. How to teach integration, how to bridge language gaps, how to make the doctrine accessible. Beside her, a young SEAL medic leans over. Sergeant Barrett, I'm HM2 Anderson. I'm primary medical for this deployment. I wanted to say, I've studied your work, the Phantom Protocol. It's brilliant. Thank you. Is it true what they say that you switched between surgery and combat in the same engagement? Yes. How do you make that switch? Tessa looks at him, sees herself 5 years ago, eager, uncertain, wanting answers. You don't switch, she says. That's the secret. You don't deactivate being a medic when you pick up a rifle. You don't deactivate being an operator when you pick up a scalpel. You hold dual identities, simultaneously, always. But how do you decide which to do? Your heart tells you, the situation tells you. If someone's dying and only you can save them, you heal. If someone's shooting and only you can stop them, you fight. The key is being prepared for both, being excellent at both. Anderson nods slowly, processing. Can you teach me? Tessa smiles. That's why I'm here. The plane climbs. Africa approaches. 6 months of deployment, training, partnership, service, using dual purpose. Tessa closes her eyes, feels the vibration of the engines, the steady rhythm of flight. In her part mind, she hears her father's voice. Heal when you can. Fight when you must. Know the difference. She knows the difference now. She's lived it, taught it, embodied it, and she'll continue teaching it for as long as she serves, because that's what Phantom does. That's what dual purpose means. Healing and fighting, medicine and warfare, life and death, all integrated, all essential, all in service to something larger than herself. The plane levels off. Cruising altitude, hours of flight ahead. Tessa opens her eyes, studies her hands. Small hands, calloused in the right places now. Both places, ready for scalpels, ready for rifles, ready for anything, different tools, same purpose, always.